looking at the button. Hi, Dave. How's it going?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's
Good.
been working on the website today.
Yeah.
So if you check the website on your mobile phone, you will see a second page on there now.
Cool.
And there are all our previous guests' names with links to their websites.
Oh, cool.
Now, I'm not sure about if I'm going to change it yet. I might change the links to our video. But
I got plenty of ideas, and I'm sure with your technical prowess, you'll be able to do it.
well, it's only taken me about fucking 5 hours today. So, but
Have a go.
yeah, it's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be, but it is.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I heard on the radio the other day this guy called Dr. Carl Hart, and I've actually just oh shit. Okay, I've actually just I heard him on. He's I think he's a professor in neuro. I don't know.
What's that? Psychology, science,
neuropsychology, maybe.
Yeah.
All things to do with your brain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And addiction. He's an addiction specialist. He doesn't believe in addiction. So, and he was saying about like alcohol dependency is when you come off alcohol, when you're dependent on alcohol, all of a sudden you get these blackouts, and it can affect you in really serious ways, you know.
Mm.
So if I were you, Dave, I wouldn't stop drinking straight away.
No, that's right. I need to keep going, don't I? I don't want that.
But yeah, it seems to be he experiments with a lot of drugs, I think, or he enjoys taking drugs. He takes heroin and crack, cocaine, and ecstasy, and all for recreational use.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a bit of a strange character.
But he reckons he's not dependent on any of it.
No, he's definitely not.
Dependency.
No.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, he thinks it's all nonsense. So
yeah. Needs to watch Train Spotting then, doesn't he? They were pretty dependent on it, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't know what he thinks, but I heard him on Joe Rogan's show, but that's the first time I came across him. But I think I'm going to do some bit more research into him. He sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, we've got some more guests. I didn't look at my Twitter account today, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But we've possibly got one of the police interceptors coming on in a future episode.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Benjamin Pearson, which sounds pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want you talking about cars for the whole hour.
Well, they drive Subaru, so it's happening.
They don't only drive Subarus, do they? They drive fucking
Evos as well.
BMWs and shit.
Yeah. But I know a lot of them they did drive Subarus and Evos.
Okay. First
of all, but and we got Nick coming on next week as well from the Dragonfly.
Oh, right, okay.
Who's an artist and owns his own venue, so we can, find out what sort of guests he's had out there and what it's been like owning a venue during COVID and the problems he's had with that. So that'll be cool. And then today,
no people coming in.
No, that's right. And then today we have got.
Don't announce them yet because they haven't turned up yet.
Okay. I'm mega excited.
Are you?
Yeah, I am really excited.
Have you got butterflies?
Mega nervous because they are a household name like, I don't know, Sony, Mr. Sheen. Everybody's heard of them.
Mr. Sheen? Barry Sheen?
No.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen, that's right. Maybe we could give people a bit of an idea. They've sold 30 million records globally.
Okay.
And they've had 100 million plays on Spotify.
That's pretty phenomenal, actually.
That's so impressive.
It's not the 95s, is it?
I don't know. He never mentioned that during his interview. He kept quiet. You would have thought he'd been bragging about that. Or Lee Reynolds.
Yeah. What are they not telling me?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they kept it quiet. That's it. You know, all those royalties are going ka-ching.
Well, I think the record company will be stealing them
Yeah.
if that's the case.
So yeah, I'm very, very pumped, very psyched. I've been listening to their music all week
Okay.
and been reading up on him over the last couple of days. So yeah, very, very excited. Like I said, very nervous. So I might just freeze.
Well,
when
you
they come
actually, you've got a lookalike sat next to you.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I suppose. Oh, she's still plugged in.
So if they don't turn up, we'll
Yeah.
put a record on and we'll put that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, everybody's going to think it's Zippy.
Yeah. He looks like Zippy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But, especially the younger generation, they won't know what a Pac-Man is.
No, they wouldn't.
So
yeah, so I am really excited. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be very good.
I hope so. I hope it's going to be. I guess it'll be pretty entertaining. To be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
We go. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh no. Oh, see. Oh, I've done that again now. Look, I'm telling you, I'm all over the shop.
Oh, you're easy. I just got to sit here and I'm still nervous.
Oh, going back to, he's a neuroscientist, actually, Dr. Carl Hart.
Oh, yeah.
And he's known for his research into drug abuse and drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's just popped up on my screen, actually. Oh, he's actually American, I thought, because I think he lives in Switzerland or somewhere, or he used to live in Switzerland. Because I think drugs are pretty loose in Switzerland. I think you can buy heroin from medical centers.
Yeah.
I think so. They've got a really, really low addiction rate in Switzerland, to be honest. And it's really controlled that way, you know?
Yeah. So is that because it is readily available? And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not such it's like a taboo and perhaps people don't have a go at it or crack at it, I was going to say, but, yeah, maybe because it's not such a taboo. Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, I love Louis Theroux and people like that, and some of the documentaries he's done, and you see some of these poor people on there that, have got these addictions.
Yeah.
It's got to be I think it's a real thing. It's got to be. So I'd be very, very interested in his theories behind it.
Well, what I was thinking about was some people come back and they say, they come back from alcoholism or whatever, and they say, I had a great time being drunk for fucking 20 years, but now I'm sober and everything's good,
Yeah.
But you don't hear that from a fucking crack cocaine addict, Yeah. They don't come back and say, I was on crack cocaine for 20 years and had a great time. They just I was on crack cocaine for 20 years and now I'm fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a difference somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's so I don't know. Maybe it could be interesting to talk to him, but
yeah,
I'm not that fucking intelligent, to be honest.
No, I struggle to keep up on lots of things, to be fair. So
we've got a
here
guest.
we go.
Oh, look. Hello, guys. We were just going to introduce you.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Fred and Richard Fairbrass.
Yeah. How you doing, guys?
Good. Welcome to the podcast. I think you see I follow you on Twitter. And I do comment on some of your posts.
I've taken to redoing Twitter lately because I got fed up with talking to myself. So, so
okay.
I just do everything on Twitter now as well. So
I can't hear you. You keep falling off.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. And yourself?
Yeah, we're fine actually. Yes. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. I've just got a glass of wine to ease the pain.
I got water.
I'm absolutely fine. Yeah.
I was going to have a beer, but it's a bit early. Well, no, I could have a beer actually.
That's what my brother likes.
Yeah, I'm tempted to have a beer. I'll see how next. I do. Yeah, maybe I'll get one.
I used to be a beer and darts man, but I came out the closet and now I drink wine. I have no idea. I don't even know why I said it.
Have you gone back in the closet?
Oh, dear.
Have you gone back in the closet or not?
No, I don't know. Absolutely not. No.
Oh.
I don't know. No. I'm more out the closet than I was 5 years ago, I think.
Oh.
Are there degrees of out of the closet?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you just put your foot out and see how it's like putting your foot into a swimming pool.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And you see what the water's like. And if it's too cold, you go back in again.
Just sample it.
All right, then, guys, let's have a chat, is it?
Yeah.
Let's start. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, David, do you want to lead the way?
Yeah, I got to be honest, guys. I've been really, really excited all week about you coming on.
Oh, thank you.
And the more I've been reading into you, it's just phenomenal. The success you guys have had is so impressive. So, you know, #1 in 70 different countries, 30 million record sales, 100 million Spotify plays. It's just absolutely incredible. It's phenomenal. It really is. So, you know, what I'd like to understand is, you know, if we go back to the very beginning, I knew you were in a band called The Actors.
We were.
I said Fred. Yeah. So what got you interested in music then in the first place?
It was a horror of regular working.
It was the actually I can remember the exact moment, which is it was a dinner. I went to a school called Imberhorn, where we both did, and there was a band playing the lunchtime gig, and I think they were called The Game, or The Gift, The Game, I think.
The Game.
Yeah, and there was about 30 people in the hall at lunchtime, and I was the only guy. Whole audience was girls, and they were transfixed by this band who were doing a Jimi Hendrix cover. I think they were doing Voodoo Child, I think. And I just thought that looks like a really good fun gig to do. That looks like something I should be doing. So I went. My dad. We were lucky enough to better go on foreign holidays back then, which. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and we went to Spain, and my dad bought me a guitar, which was actually dreadful, but it gave me the bug. And then he was good enough to buy me a proper guitar, and then I started taking lessons. And then about a year later, Richard being a Paul McCartney fan, decided to start playing bass. So that's when we sort of early teens, we were writing and playing.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And you were supporting Joy Division even back then.
Yes, yeah, back right in 1978, we were on the road with Suicide, who were a New York electronica duo, and who were insane, but fantastic. And we and when we went to Manchester, Tony Wilson got Joy Division onto the bill, so it was Suicide, Joy Division, us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's
brilliant.
Yeah, what they used to do at one of the gigs, I'm not sure which one it was, but because the last bus went at around something like
that was in Liverpool.
Because the last bus home went like at 10, the support act was on last.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Because everybody else had gone home.
Yeah.
Well, they failed to tell the audience that sometimes, so they got really upset when they missed the headline and caught us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they showed their dismay by throwing glasses of they back then, this is 78, so it was slightly post-punk, so it was quite violent, some of the gigs, so they would pee into their glasses and throw.
Yeah.
Quite not exactly family entertainment, you know.
Changed my life. Changed my shirt.
So you're actually quite accomplished musicians then?
Yeah, I mean, we both play reasonably well for what we do. I mean, neither of us are virtuosos, but we can get by relatively healthy with what we need to do. Richard now plays most of the bass on the new stuff. I've always played the guitars on everything, really, along with back with the original Right Said Fred with Rob Manzoni. So yeah, we aren't really, because we're a duo and not a band, we aren't seen in that context. But both play reasonably well.
I remember an interview years ago that John Lennon gave, but he said that he was asked why he wrote Imagine on a piano as opposed to a guitar, and he said if you're trying to write a simple song, the last thing you should do is write it on an instrument on which you are accomplished.
Okay.
It's write it on something where you're really limited in what you know, because it forces you to think simply.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what I think. We see ourselves more as songwriters than players.
That's why, is that why you bought a cello?
That's why I bought the cello.
Yeah.
Wait for the next album, mate.
Really upbeat
It's
stuff.
the one-note samba. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, because you were session players, weren't you, for like Bob Dylan and David Bowie?
Yes, we did. Back in the 80s, everyone did a video. Everyone wanted bands and dancers in their videos. So Richard got some gigs with Bowie, and I went on the road with Dylan as the second guitar player. And that was to support a movie. The movie was called Hearts of Fire, and they wanted it was sort of a rock and roll film, if you like. It was and an appalling film at the same time. They wanted some live shots, so we did a couple of gigs in London, I think at Heaven, and then we went and did some sort of arena shows in Canada.
Yeah.
And that was for the live stuff for the for the film. So yeah, we did about, I don't know, 8 gigs, I suppose. Not it wasn't a big tour at all. The most sort of memorable moment was because was for me was because I had to teach Bob Dylan the songs that we were doing that day, because he hadn't written a lot of the songs for the movie. They were written by Bo Hill, I think his name was. Okay. And so I would go to Dylan's trailer and I would just say we're doing these 2 songs today, and run through the chords. And so for that half hour or whatever it took, it was just me and him in his trailer, or whoever happened to be in the trailer at the time. So that was a very privileged moment.
Yeah.
There was one time Fred told me where they were doing a scene and they asked Bob Dylan, or the director asked Bob Dylan, could you write the lyrics down, please? Because we're doing a kind of, we need to know what you're singing. And Bob Dylan said, well, apparently I said, sort of, what do you mean? And because he didn't have lyrics, he was just making Bob Dylan noises. And all that sort of stuff. Hadn't written lyrics at all. It was just a noise. And I love stuff like that. I love it when people are out the box.
He was really nice to me. So he's got a bit of a funny old reputation, but speak as you find, he was really good to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love Bob Dylan. Though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then so 1989 is when it all started. Then with Right Said Fred.
Yes. We'd been living in New York the year before, or 2 years before, and we were signed to Capital EMI, and they thought we were going to. We had a band called Trash, Flash and Money, and it looked like we were going to be launched with the big bang, and it never happened. And so we then came back to London with our tails between our legs a little bit, and went back to waiting tables and working in gyms, and we started Right Said Fred. We just thought, let's just go out and play some gigs. So we went out to Service, acoustic guitar. We tired of that fairly quickly, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And we thought, and at the same time, I think me a bit more than Rich, we were both sort of got into the house scene a little bit, listening to dance club, going to raves.
I didn't do that much, did I?
No, but I went to Shoom and some of the other big raves, and I really got that sort of house bug. I just loved what they were doing. And I said, Rich, why don't we just try and do something with someone who works in that arena.
Also, we got bored with not making much noise.
Yeah, we liked. Yeah, we missed the thump of it, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we hooked up with Rob Manzoli, who we met through a local rehearsal studio in Putney, and we just said to Rob, "Let's write something that we think could work over a dance groove," And we didn't have anything. We didn't have any songs or anything. We just said, we don't really want to hear your ideas, and we're not going to make you listen to our ideas. We have to write something brand new.
Yeah.
And so we had this. So when we wrote "Sexy," we were in a basement studio in Acton with a guy called Brian Pugsley, and by this time it was mid-90s, I think, something like that, something like that, and. We had this groove going round and round and round, and it was a hot day. And the bass line of that particular idea was the melody to "I'm Too Sexy," which is an E major scale, kind of, which is a da 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 da.
That's not as good as the way I do it.
No, it's not going to go.
No, go on. No, you keep going.
Shut up.
You're very good.
Shut up. And so. And as usual in those sessions, people start to tire and get bored, and this thing was looping round and round. And Richard got up and sort of wandering around Brian's flat, and then because it was hot and Brian had a mirror, one of those stand-up mirrors in his is it bedroom? Was it?
Bedroom, I think, yeah.
And Richard started singing "I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt" to that melody. I'm too sexy for my shirt, you know, and came back and sung it to us, and we thought that's a bit of a mad idea, and the idea stuck. And so we took the idea away and then basically just worked on it. And because we'd sung the bass line, Rob had come up with a melody, another guitar line, like a da 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 da. And I said, well, one of us said, well, if we just sung the bass line, why don't we just sing the guitar line? So, and
quite clever, really.
you know, the logic of it.
The logic of it.
And so with that bit, I put the lyrics to the "I'm a model," you know what I mean? And we just fused the two together. And over about 5 months, because we were skint, we couldn't keep on going in the studio.
Yeah.
So over about 5 months, we demoed the idea, took it to a bunch of labels. They all hated it. Then we, not one.
We took it to everybody.
Yeah, not one record company.
Yeah.
And so we then thought, well, we don't really care. We don't really care about the record labels. What about just hearing it on the radio? And the girl who worked in the studio, which was Red Bus Studios, called Tamsin, and she was only 18. And she said, I think this is a hit record. If I can get it on radio, could I manage you? So we said, yeah. We didn't realize she meant sort of Radio 1. We didn't realize that. We thought she meant sort of, radio,
Radio London or
Isle of Wight or something.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with the Isle of Wight.
Watch out.
There's nothing wrong with the Isle of Wight.
There's a big demographic for us. Watch out.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Putney FM, you know.
Yeah.
And so we literally a few weeks later, she said, tune in tonight because Gary Crowley is playing it. And then on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whatever it is, Simon Bates is going to play it. And at the time, particularly, I mean, Gary's show was a big show, but Simon, I think, it was the biggest show in Europe or something. It was huge, his breakfast show, massive.
Yeah.
And he was good enough to play the track off the acetate. And for those people who don't know what the acetate is, it was a big plastic lump shaped like a 12-inch disc, but you could only play it 5 or 6 times because it was literally just to demo the idea. It was the demo of the master, if you like demo of the vinyl prototype sort of thing. And they did, and the phones at Radio 1 went mad, and that was it. It literally just changed at that point. We were expecting, oh, that's great, we had some airplay, that's nice. What are we going to do now? And then the gym, we were working at this gym, and the phone started going, and it was the Sun, and it was and all the tabloids just jumped on it.
We weren't really ready for it.
No, our management wasn't ready. The record label weren't a record label. They were they were a plugin company who had decided to set up a label to service this one song. So everyone involved was actually really incapable of dealing with it terribly well, including ourselves. We weren't ready for the fame thing. We've been in bands, but we weren't ready to be celebrities, were we?
No, I didn't. We didn't really. It didn't. I think the weight of it, the sheer size of the track. And I can remember waking up one very, very early, one morning. I think it's like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. The phone had rung. And it was some guy in America on the phone talking about a TV show that we must do because it was our demographic.
Okay.
Our demographic. And I didn't even know what demographic was. I had to look it up. No clue what he was talking about. So the whole thing was just, was weird for us. It was partly because we had no history. Sexy had gone to sort of, top 30, and then the next track had gone, top 15, and the next track had gone. There would have been some kind of logic to it and momentum, and we would have had a chance to catch our breath. But as it was, we were running around after a mad dog. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, it's just like an overnight sensation.
It was, The song just went insane.
Yeah, it really was.
It was very hard to kind of get your head around it.
I think what we should have done, in retrospect, the original version had about a 3 or 4 minute minor key play out.
It did, yeah.
I think if we'd kept that, it would have slowed its success down somewhat. And that might have helped.
Because it's, what was it, number 1 in 32 countries.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a debut single.
Yeah.
That's just incredible, isn't
it? It is. Yeah. I mean, being number 1 in America was the game changer because at that time, I don't know about now so much, but certainly at that time, lots of other countries looked to America for the approval rating, if you like. They didn't want to run with a track unless it had the rubber stamp of America, and that particularly applied to Japan and Australia at the time. And so suddenly it just opened up brand new markets every day.
Yeah.
And so we were just, we kind of stopped writing and stopped being musicians. We were just running around waving at cameras and being famous. And that's kind of what, I think that's what sort of drove us insane, was the celebrity side of it. We were quite happy being musicians and writing some songs, but being a celebrity and sort of hanging out with those type of people and what you need, how you need to change your life if you want to do that. Well, first of all, we weren't prepared to do that, but we just really like it, didn't we?
No, and also, I don't think you know you're doing it.
No, you don't. No, that's true.
That's the thing. It's not like, oh, there's the celebrity gangway. We'll go down there because that's good. And there's the musician thing. Well, we don't want that. We'll go. You don't. It's not. That's not what happens. What happens is you become something while you don't know you're becoming it.
Yeah.
5 years later, and then you think, oh, that's what I am.
Yeah. Well, that's really crazy, isn't it? That's a crazy story, because if you think of just a few years earlier, you were in a trailer with Bob Dylan,
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you change into this animal on its own, and it's like
we suddenly became housewives' favourites. Like household names, and
it wasn't
very odd.
It wasn't until we did "I'm Too Sexy" that I realised I could sing that low. I'd never done that before. I wanted to be I want to be Steve Tyler. I'd still like to be Steve Tyler. But I don't have that voice. I don't have a rock voice. I have a kind of crude
baritone
voice.
Baritone,
we did it a little bit in America, didn't we? Like that song, "Physical Boy."
Yeah, a little bit. When we did sort of
we got in America. We were signed as a sort of
Billy Idol,
slightly Billy Idol, lots of eights on the guitar and low vocals. It didn't sound quite like that.
It was copying, really.
It was. Yeah.
The great thing about "Sexy" is we stopped copying. Not consciously. We just did. We try, even now, although some of the genres we explore are familiar to people, the minute we think of anything that sounds a bit like something else, we bin it straight away. We just won't have any, the idea of copying somebody else's idea and trying to get away with it doesn't appeal to us at all. And "Sexy" was quite good training for that. It keeps you on. It doesn't mean to say you could be quirky the whole time, because you just can't. But it reminds you that quirky is possible. And you shouldn't ever walk away from it just because it's a bit unusual.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because Deeply Dippy then came out, and that was #1 for 3 weeks as well. And then that sort of catapulted your first album, which went multi-platinum as well. The Deeply Dippy changed our audience quite a lot. Demographic.
Demographic. I'm Too Sexy, Don't Talk, Just Kiss were both sort of dance tracks, And Deeply Dippy came along with more of a swing track. And that opened up your mums and dads and kids, and almost more of a pub sort of sing-along audience.
It's got a sort of board. I was listening to Chaz and Dave today. "Ain't No Pleasing You."
Great song.
That's a brilliant song.
Which is a great song, and the drum sound on it is absolutely blinding. I mean, I love the drum sound. But anyway, there's a vaudevillian ingredient in there. And I can imagine Chaz and Dave doing that kind of stuff with different instruments in 1850. In the music halls, And Deeply Dippy is a little bit like that. It's got a slightly vaudevillian quality to it, which I really like. And I think the English music scene copies the American scene far too readily, and doesn't sort of capitalize on its innate what's the word for it? Its uniqueness. We have a unique history, if you like. And we are very often we're dominated. I mean, we're the same. I'm not criticizing anybody for doing this, but the blues thing is a central part. But that's not necessarily reflective of the history of British music and folk music. So, and there's one guy that we really like called Jake Thackeray, who's a folk artist who died some years ago. But he was really in touch with that, that sort of folk history, if you like, and that sort of, and also the French sort of chanson thing. So there's a whole lot. I love Charles Trenet too. I mean, I love all that stuff. So it's important, I think, to try and imagine music that's not given to you from some vast American company. It's good to. I mean, I love Aerosmith, but I also love some of the weirder stuff that we produce in the UK.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. So you were overnight sensations. So, what did you treat yourselves to then? So, did you go out and spend exotically on items or things or anything like that?
No, we not really. Well, we bought a house each.
Yeah.
And we maybe had better cars. We weren't very big on the sort of multiple cars, multiple properties sort of thing. We didn't go down that route.
No.
We just bought. We each just bought a house. We then had. Then we checked. Our cars got better. I suppose me more than anyone else. I got into the designer clothes a little bit just because I'd never been able to afford them before. So I think I was a bit more typical in that way. But we just. What else did we do? I mean, we worked, to be honest with you. We were just working like lunatics. And
you had a car with electric windows.
I had a car with electric windows. That's the first time I'd ever had a car with electric windows. So I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah.
And it was just nice. It was nice not to be in debt.
Yeah.
It was nice to be able to It was nice to be able to go out for a meal and not have to look at the bill.
Yeah, yeah.
So little things like that, but we're not big sort of. We didn't go and invest in. Well, sadly, we didn't go and invest in Facebook.
Yeah.
That would have been a good or Apple Mac.
Bitcoin,
yeah. We just and we haven't really changed much. And we sort of. Richard was a vintage car freak for a bit.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a petrol head, so I really, really like cars. And I really, really can't stand electric cars. I like cars that make noise and sound like machinery. So I bought an E-Type and I bought an old 3.8 Jag and bits and pieces like that. And I spent a lot of money on the first house we bought. More than, when I look back, more than I should have spent probably. But we didn't really, that whole celebrity thing, which probably was open to us at the time. Hanging out with all the high and mighty and sort of famous people and all that kind of stuff. It didn't really strike me as something I wanted to do. And we never really did. We went to Brown's a few times and
we had a few premieres and things.
Premieres, but it didn't bite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I must do more of that. That was great. I just didn't. I'm just as happy at home. Well, I watched Line of Duty last night, and I still don't know what's going on. But that's how we spend our time. Although Fred's obviously stuck in the UK because for obvious reasons right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always, and also my partner was very poorly at the time. I was with Stuart for 28 years, and towards the end of his life, he couldn't go out. So we stayed at home a lot of the time and watched, interminable episodes of Star Trek.
The press made going out for us pretty unpleasant.
Yeah.
So we just stopped.
Yeah.
So we didn't really. We sort of didn't really. The whole celebrity thing, we just didn't bother with it.
No, I think some people love it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
and they're good at it. They're good at walking out and doing the big hello and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, it just didn't strike me as something I wanted to do. I was quite happy being left alone, really.
Yeah, but maybe also because you were those session musicians before you were the Freds, if you like, and you were bothering with those sort of people, maybe it just didn't rub off.
Yeah, that's possibly true. I mean, when we did I did 3 things with David Bowie, and he was quiet. He was a quiet kind of guy, really. So I think we tend to assume that the people you see in the press all the time are the ones that are making the greatest contribution, and that very often, I'm sure David Byrne would be a good guy to talk to about that, because you never see him in the papers, and Talking Heads did some great stuff. Yeah. So I think we are in the West addicted to profile and addicted to money and addicted to all the things that actually don't really matter.
Yeah. Well, you just look at reality TV, innit?
You can't take any of it. I worked with a guy many years ago when I was delivering furniture, and he said to me, "You won't find any pockets in the shroud."
That's right.
And I remember that really clearly.
Yeah. But obviously, you work with the biggest stars anyway, because I found out today you were on the Royal Variety performance with the Muppets.
Yes.
I didn't know you've made it when you play with the Muppets, didn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, but that was.
Yes, the weirdest thing about that, the one thing I remember actually was that was at Dominion Theatre in London. We walked in with the people that we were with, and everybody was carrying these big, heavy silver cases. and there wasn't any. And the Queen was going to be there, obviously, in the evening.
Yeah.
There was no security check at all.
Nothing.
None.
Really?
You can't get your head around it. Back in the day, it was
Yeah.
just now. There's a security check at the local pizza house. You know, it's the change in the way we live is quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
But that was probably the time when we got the blessing from the family because we met the Queen.
Yeah.
Once we met the Queen, everything was cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were seal of approval.
We had the seal of approval. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And then that was the same year you did release the Comic Relief song as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. We did stick it out with
Jules Holland.
That's right, Jules Holland and Steve Coogan and Lennox Lewis.
Peter Cook.
You know, French and Saunders, Peter Cook. It was quite a good turnout. I quite enjoyed it. I think at that point we were getting a little bit with fatigue was wearing. Fatigue.
I'm not surprised. That's a busy 3 years, isn't it?
I mean, we've done that. You know, we had a big success, and then what we should have done. Not just us, but loads of artists forget that you're self-employed.
Yeah.
Record company doesn't pay your wage. Managers don't. PR don't. And so what you should do is exactly what ZZ Top did and some more sensible bands did. They have their big success and they go, we're going to offer a rest or see in the year. We didn't do that. We listened to our idiot record company and other people, and we kept on working, and we burnt out basically. We were just I don't know, Richard, but I couldn't sleep and loads, just exhaustion.
Do you remember we were talking about the second album, and we were saying we're promoting the first album. And said, we don't have any time for writing. And the record company guy said, well, what about when you're sitting in a taxi?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. That's very inspirational.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we'll do. We're going from Mayfair to St John's Wood. We'll knock out a chorus on the way. I mean, these people are so. But one thing the Stranglers did, I think it was the Stranglers. What they did was they recorded 2 albums when they did their first album. At the same time they recorded the second album. Very smart. I would advise every band to do that. Because then it takes the weight off. You're also in the same place.
Yeah.
So that was a brilliant idea, and it's exactly what we should have done.
Did you have enough songs to do that though?
We would have. I think we would have. Also, when you know you're going to do that, you rise to the occasion.
You apply yourself.
I suppose. Yeah.
And also, what you probably would do is you'd spread your best songs across 2 albums.
Yeah.
So that's the first album up probably would have sold just as well if we'd taken a couple of the key songs off. If you leave on Sexy, Don't Talk and Deeply Dippy, and then maybe Love for All Seasons or something else you had on the other album, and you just spread the load. I think that's a very smart idea. I wish we'd thought that.
It's a bit late now, boys.
Also, the other thing is, you don't really, when everything's going really, really well, you don't truly know why.
No, you don't know.
Is it the record company? Is it the management? Is it you? Is it the songs? Is it the production? So in a way, you try and keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
And also, what by definition, what you do is you trust everybody implicitly.
Yeah.
You're successful, and all the team are around you, and you blah blah blah. So you think you're all going in the same direction. You learn eventually, of course, that you're not, but that's what you think. And we had a meeting at a hotel in London in preparation for the second album. I remember the record company guy said, "You guys are so popular, you could record the telephone directory, and it would be a hit."
Yeah.
We tried that.
It's called our second album.
It's called our second album.
Yeah, because you picked up some Novella Awards as well, didn't you, from your first album?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Got 2 Ivor Novellas, 1 for Sexy and Deeply Dippy. And then we went on to get 3 BMI, which is an American award. We because of we've always been independent, but that first album was also basically an independent album. We weren't embraced. The Brits just ignored us as best they could because it's basically run by the major record companies.
Right.
So we didn't really get particularly embraced by the Brits. But other than that, we were pretty happy with our lot really. And I think if we'd stopped for a year or 2, we would have felt fine about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think also it's only as you get older that you realise that relevance and the approval of others doesn't matter. When you start off, you really do want it. I really wanted it. I really wanted to do the approval of Melody Maker, or the approval of the culture section of the Times, or whatever it happened to be. I mean, because you think it matters. And it's only when you get older and you're finding it hard to hold your water that you find out that actually none of that matters. Actually, it really, really doesn't matter. As long as you're producing stuff that you're proud of,
Yeah.
and that you have confidence in, that is all that matters. Actually, that's all you can do, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else
Yeah.
is all just dross, the rest of it.
That's it. Yeah. That's mad. So like by about 96, then you had your 3 albums out, and then you were touring globally. What were some of the best tour dates you did here? You know, what was some of the nicest venues you performed at?
That's a good question.
We did some pretty good festivals back then.
Yeah.
We did some shows with Green Day and who are the other lot? Green Day, Santana.
Yeah. Oh my God, Santana.
Yeah, Santana. And we did a run through Norway, well, Scandinavia, then I think it was Holland, Belgium. We did that run, that sort of bit, that Benelux run. That was really cool.
Yeah.
We did some stuff in the UK, but to be honest with you, our value has always been higher abroad than in the UK. Always has been, even from day one, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, one of the shows, it wasn't part of a big tour or anything, but one of the shows I do remember really clearly was we were doing a BRMB show, and Deeply Dippy was the record we were promoting. And it was I can't remember the venue, but it was absolutely heaving. I mean, it was really, really busy. It was me, Fred, and Rob on stage. And the front row was all girls. And one girl passed out. And the St. John's ambulance was sort of pushing their way through the crowd to rescue this poor girl. And Rob came up to me and he whispered in my ear and he said, "God, I didn't think we're that bad." That's stayed in my mind, really, you know. But so,
yeah.
So gigs have different. I mean, I remember doing a gig in Australia and I tripped over my stupid outfit. I remember that gig for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Some of the ones that are most memorable in terms of shows are ones that we've done more recently. And we did a live show in Cambridge, a big festival in Cambridge, about 2 or 3 years ago. And that was a lovely afternoon. It was really sunny. The band sounded great. The audience were fantastic. The mayor turned up, who was a bit drunk. That's about it, you know.
Yeah.
I remember those. You know, I mean, it wasn't necessarily part of the early manifestation of what we were doing, but it was one of the things I remember.
That's cool. And you opened for the FIFA World Cup in 2006.
Yes, we played Brandenburg Gate. That
was good, actually.
Yeah, that's the biggest audience we played to. I think it was 300,000.
Yeah,
I think
that's huge.
You couldn't see the end.
It was insane. Yeah. In terms of audience capacity, that was one of the biggest, I think. We also played. There's a great gig in Hamburg called the Grosse Freiheit, which is it's about 1,700 people, but it's got a gallery and it's like a small theatre, and we're standing on the bottom floor, and it's just a really, really good venue, and we did that a few times, and that was really rocking. You can feel people really on top of you, and so sometimes it's not always the bigger shows.
The smaller gigs can be more fun and more challenging in a way. We did a tiny sort of warm-up gig out in, I can't remember where it was now, tiny little place, and I mean the stage is about, I don't know, 3 inches high, you know, and so the punters are right in your face. I mean they're close talkers, frankly.
Yeah.
And that's what I find that really exciting. You know, that is absolutely. But when you're doing the big venues and big festivals are more to do, I think, with the ego of the performer. Than necessarily the content of the show. Then if you're walking on a big stage and then you have the security thing and all the cameras in front and the people are about 20, 30 feet back. You know, it's not
not very personal.
No, it's not. You know, you're there thinking, "Oh, this is great," and look at all those people over there. This is, but it's not as I don't know, not as visceral as a small club date. You know. Yeah,
that's cool. And then you had a bit of a sabbatical.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did time 97.
Well, my partner was Stuart was really poorly. My partner, he was really ill. And was it? When was your divorce? Was that?
No, I got. Oh yeah, I got.
Was that divorce?
No, I got since 97.
Oh, well, about the same.
Okay.
We just took time out. Then we split up with Rob.
Yeah.
We went back on the road in '99 and started doing some really small clubs in the UK.
Yeah.
And
which was actually good fun.
And was really good fun.
Yeah.
And then we did a new deal in Europe. We was signed to a new label in Berlin.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 two gold albums back to back with that label.
Yeah.
And
That was cool.
yeah, and that was probably some of the most fun I've ever had, because first of all, you prove that you have the ability to bounce back.
Yeah.
But also some of the venues were just fantastic. I mean, we
Some of the kids were great.
yeah, we did a special. There was like a school in Hanover, and they'd done a special dance for a song called "You're My Mate," and we got invited with a TV crew. We got invited to go down there, and it was fantastic. It was just watching these kids do it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And we did some big. We did the Allianz Arena in Munich
Status Quo.
with Quo.
Crikey, yeah.
They did Schalke Stadium.
Yes.
And it was just some of the venues, the promoter and also the label at the time were just very, very good. They really understood our market out there.
Did, yeah.
And for a good 5-6 years, it was just sort of solid success one way or another. And it was handled really well, much better than our first foray.
Yeah, foray, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't say that much. Yeah.
We
You know,
talking about Status Quo. We met Francis Rossi and Rick Parfitt in London. Actually, I can't remember. It was probably about 15 years ago or something. It was a fashion show, and the four of us were sitting around a table, and Rick Parfitt leaned across and he said, "You're a bit like us, really." He said, "You're shit, but really good." But yeah, and I miss Germany. We spent a lot of time in Germany, and I really miss this whole thing with COVID. Has really put the mockers on the things that we grew up with, if you like. You know, the ability to travel, the ability to work. We were going to Germany and have been since 1991, probably at least once a week. Very often, more than that, depending on what's going on. And that I haven't flown for over a year now.
Yeah.
We've got a friend actually in Germany who runs a tattoo parlor, and she's thinking of leaving Germany because she
Really?
can't.
Yeah,
So-
Germany have because I'm in Holland, you know.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
And
Okay. We have fond memories of Holland.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
played there a few times.
Yeah.
And great audience.
Yeah.
You know, really good fun. And
I like Europe. I really, really like Europe. I like traveling there. I can't stand the imposition that politicians put on people in terms of their ability to move around.
Yeah.
And I like the Germans being German and the Italians being Italian and the Dutch being Dutch. And that's, to me, the fascinating thing about the whole place. And the minute you try and homogenize it with, one culture that overarches everything, then I think it spoils it.
no, I don't think you're going to get that really.
No,
You
I
know.
hope not.
What's your stance on Brexit then?
Oh,
well, we're both slightly different. We both voted to leave because we didn't like Brussels.
Yeah, okay.
But this is just my opinion. If I'd known that the person to conduct Brexit on behalf of the UK was going to be Boris Johnson,
Yeah.
I would have abstained and not voted,
Okay, yeah.
because I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think he's an appalling human, and I think he's human. It's hard to tell. And so so I sort of voted leave because I don't think countries should be intertwined politically in that way. That's just my opinion. But now it's kind of, to be honest, Brexit has kind of taken a back seat, isn't it? I mean, now everything is just COVID. Everything is COVID.
Yeah.
And that we were trying to work out if we would be able to do shows. And I think it's some bands will. That's up to them. But certainly, if you do have to get a vaccine to do a show, we wouldn't do that at the moment. We aren't anti-vax at all, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable taking the vaccine now. That's just up to me, my choice.
Yeah, that's the same as me, really.
Is it right? Yeah. And I think that's just a personal thing. I've had vaccines before, obviously when I was younger, when we travelled, I don't have a problem at all. I just don't feel comfortable with this at the moment. And I do think it's going to get to a point where it will be coerced.
I was speaking to Michael yesterday, Michael Armstrong, you know.
Oh yes, all right, of course, yeah.
And I was saying to him actually about the vaccine passport.
Yes.
Because they were saying on the news, especially here in Holland, there won't be a vaccine passport. There won't be a vaccine passport. And yesterday they announced that the legislation that you are going to need some sort of paperwork
Yes,
saying you've had the vaccine to travel. And
that's right.
like the only thing that, they've done, obviously they do testings on vaccines, to make sure that they're clinically safe, but they just haven't had the time.
No.
The time hasn't gone into it to be where will this vaccine be in 5 years' time? It's the same as what I always think back to is thalidomide.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, somebody put on on the socials, they put on 4 adverts which dated back about varying 50 to 100 years. One was about use DDT on your farm and breathe easy.
Okay.
And the other one was cigarettes soothes the sorest throat. It was a whole load of stuff, and it just reminds you to be cautious. And there's a woman on, a lady called Alison Hammond, I think. Was it Alison Hammond today?
Yes, she's a TV presenter. And she expressed her hesitancy at the having the vaccine. And what was interesting about that, if somebody said to you they're hesitant about crossing the road, you would think, yeah, well, that's a good thing. Just take it easy, be careful. I'm hesitant about having a facelift. Well, yes, you should be hesitant. It's a big thing. I'm hesitant about having a vaccine. You shouldn't be hesitant about having a vaccine. How dare you? So they had an ex-Tory MP on there who was berating her for being hesitant, and he's an idiot. I'm sorry, and he's disrespectful to her sense of caution. To her, I've had it and it's fine with me, but you should follow your own gut. It doesn't say that.
That's it. Well, yeah. Oh, I agree. Terry, I've had mine because obviously they're rolling it out in the UK. So Terry said he didn't want to have his, so I said, well, I'll have mine, and if my hair falls out or something goes wrong, I said, don't have it.
Well, they had a guy the other day waiting, talking about the period that you would normally have to wait to ascertain whether a vaccine is both fully effective and safe, and he was talking anything between 2 and 10 years. So there is, for some experts, and I'm not saying that I'm not a scientist, so I'm just repeating what they say. For some experts, they believe that the issues are ahead of us. Today, and the sad thing is we have a head of state in the UK who seem to think, I've had the vaccine, it was just a little prick, it's fine. Not really the point, you silly woman.
No.
When she said little prick, I'm assuming she wasn't talking about Prince Harry. I'm not sure about that. But so we're not anti-vax, we're just cautious. That's all.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So moving back on to music then. So obviously you guys have had a massive career, and you've got some new songs coming out. So I've been taking a listen to your new songs that are coming out. So the first one is Your Inner Light Is Love.
Yes.
It's very mellow.
Yes.
I really like it. I've been listening to it all week. It's really good. I like it, guys. It's really nice. I like it.
Well, we wrote it as a response, really, to because the song we did a few months ago was, I think, called "We're All Criminals," which was a slightly sort of cynical look at the way life is in the UK. And we had to do it because we liked it, and also, but it's not something we would necessarily want to live by. And then we wanted to write something that cheered us up and hopefully would cheer other people up. And it was fun. It was rewarding to do. And we did a thing with Talk Radio yesterday, and they played it on Talk Radio. When you hear it back, you think, no, it's a positive message, and it's something we believe.
Yeah, it is.
I think the power to be better than you are is inside most people.
No,
definitely.
Yeah, no, it's a really good song. So going back to We Are Criminals, I listened to that as well, and that's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, we wanted to. Yes, it's just a mirror on how we saw the world at the time. When we did some interviews, they go, "Oh my gosh, you're so angry." Not angry. It was just
not angry, you're not paying attention.
Well, first of all, if you're not angry, you're not paying exactly right. But it's not an angry song; it's a cynical song.
It's a cynical song.
Yeah. And it's just a song looking at which I think some of the lyrics in there are true. You can break the law before you're out the door. That is absolutely 100% true.
Yeah.
And it's now you've got governments suggesting to kids that they tell tales on their mum and dad if their mum and dad aren't behaving properly at home. And next, what's down the pipeline? Is it cameras in the home? And when you suggest things like this, people think you're nuts. But if we were having this conversation 2 years ago and I said to you, you know, everyone's going to have to wear a mask and you won't be able to fly unless you've had this, and you won't be able to do that, and you won't be able to do that, and people will get arrested for sitting on a park bench, you'd think I was nuts.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's actually
Yeah.
what happens. I think I'm actually open-minded. I think I can imagine everything happening. I can imagine people having barcodes on the front of their head in 10 years' time. It's gone so balmy so quickly. And I'm open to all suggestions. Really.
Yeah, we've got a friend who took a train up into London today, and they had COVID marshals on the train berating people who weren't covering their face. COVID marshals, you know.
Yeah, I saw a video of a young lad getting beaten up by the police a few months ago because he didn't actually have a mask on the train.
Yeah.
And he had a doctor's note saying that he didn't have to wear one, you know, because
right.
But they won't listen. They won't listen to it.
No, they're not interested.
No, I think this has just given permission, and sadly we have a government in the UK that has not bothered to push back on this. It's given permission to every curtain twitching idiot out there to judge and meddle in other people's affairs, and that's you know, we have a Home Secretary who thinks that snitching is probably something you should get a reward for.
Yeah.
We have a Prime Minister who seems to have forgotten completely the importance of freedom of conscience or anything else. So it's not surprising that everything's gone as badly and as damaging as it has. We have in the UK, in government and in the opposition, two parties that are completely silent on the biggest issues that we face. It's a disgrace. Starmer and Johnson are a complete disgrace.
I find it kind of weird because we've been to a few protests and got a lot of heat from mainstream media, and we're both surprised that we were sort of the most famous artists there. We thought we'd be the least famous.
We were the only artists.
Yeah. There were some others that, I mean, Danny Rampling was there.
Yes, he was there, yeah.
Sean Ward was there, and some other Ian Brown has been vocal online, etc. Van Ross and Eric Clapton. There are some people who've been vocal, but actually attending a rally.
We need them on the street.
Yeah, I was surprised. What surprised us was that we were the only sort of faces there, and that was very strange. And so, what's happened to the music industry is sort of the spine that certain artists used to have. That's all seems to have gone really, but
I mean, if you look back particularly into the days of Vietnam and all that stuff, when you had Joan Baez and Bob Dylan and all these people, and Buffalo Springfield and all that kind of stuff, actually making comments about the race riots or whatever it happens to be. Pop was very culturally aware, and it's now more like a kind of an advert. It's more like something that just like Soma. It's a drug that keeps you quiet. And I think personally, given the fact that the entertainment industry, among many others, has been absolutely trashed, I cannot for the life of me understand why dozens of artists, performers, actors, everybody are not on the street. I don't get it.
Blame Simon Cowell.
Yeah, I mean, really, what a disgrace. I really do. I've got no time for it. None. Sorry, go on.
It's okay. So then the other song I've heard then is "Good Times Everybody," which is like back to the uplifting song, and it's like I can imagine it at the festivals and on the beach and all that.
The idea of that was just a euphoric song. That's why with the guitar riff, that song sort of revolves around that really. And it was just it was sort of an echo towards some of the stuff that we both like Robin Schulz and Calvin Harris, because they seem to like guitars. They use guitars in their tracks, and so it was a sort of a nod towards that, really.
And it was good when we did the video. It's good trawling through some of the old footage. It reminded us, and it's very easy to forget those events, and artists should never forget, or people should never forget, the power of those events and the enjoyment that it gives people. So for us, and there's one where there's a bunch of girls dancing in a school in South Africa. I think they're all black girls. I think
they are,
and they're brilliant. I mean, they are so good, and it's heartwarming. It's just great, So that was our first foray really into doing stuff that we felt would cheer us up and other people up, and we just wanted it to be sunny and positive, and there's too much gloom around. We need to cheer up.
don't we?
Not easy, I agree. It's not,
Yeah.
you know.
So you've collaborated with a lot of guys. I've noticed on the one song you mentioned earlier, you collaborated with Mike Gray. And
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Mike Gray because he was in the band Skin.
That's
And
right.
I've seen Skin a few times, and he's a bit of a local legend really when it comes to rock music. Mike.
Right.
So how did you get involved with Mike?
We met him at a gym, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was a gym. Yeah. It was.
And that we just did a little bit of writing together.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty short-lived relationship.
About a year, I think.
Yeah,
About a year.
but we wrote half a dozen songs or something with him,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And that was that. It was a fairly. It was sort of not someone we've stayed in touch with at all. And we didn't know him. We didn't know him before we worked with him, and we haven't stayed in touch since. And that's quite common, I think, with a lot of artists.
Yes, Rob, probably the longest relationship we've had with a co-writer.
Yeah.
And we have worked with other people in the meantime. But writing with other people is not always as easy as it looks or sounds. There's all sorts of egos that come into play. Sometimes there's management, sometimes there's other labels. Then we did a thing in Germany with a very big German star who right at the last minute said she wasn't able to make the video.
Oh.
And that's the kind of stuff you're up against. So we are we're not against working with other people, but we are careful.
Yeah.
So you've written songs for other people?
Yes,
I take it.
We have, but we have, but we if we come up with an idea that's really good, we try not to give it away.
Yeah, obviously.
Also, we're not very what's the word I'm looking for? We're not very sort of plumbed into that network of writers. Recently, last couple of years, I've been involved in a sort of a online forum, which is people sharing sort of projects that need this and need that. And we don't really write in a way that suits most artists or most projects. We tend to be a little bit left center in the way we write. And also their lyric content is what they want from you is incredibly conservative. So it doesn't really work for us that well. We have done a few things, like obviously the Taylor Swift thing is the most successful, sort of co-writing credit. And we've done other bits and pieces. We worked with Clyde Ward for quite a while.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did. You're right.
Yeah. And other sort of writing teams, but it's not something that particularly suits us, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It has to be. I mean, I think it's probably more difficult for us now than it would have been back then because we're more in touch with what we want to do now. So whoever we brought in would have to fit in rather than fitting with them. Yeah. And back in the day when we were still floundering around a little bit and trying to find a direction, we were more pliable, I think, when it came to influences. That's less true now. I think we're much more, and we're more. I was going to say arrogant. I wouldn't say we're arrogant, but we're very, very
confident, maybe.
Yeah, we're just plugged into what we want to do. I remember an interview with Ted Turner, and he said, "If you don't dig me, then,
Yeah.
I won't swear, but that's what he was basically saying." And we're sort of the same. We feel the same. We dig it or jog on.
Yeah. But then, you've earned that right, haven't you?
Yeah, I think as you get older, you don't. One of the most crippling things when you're a kid and in your teens is the desire to be liked by your peers.
Yeah.
And the desire to the seeking of approval. It's a crippling thing, and it stops you being who you are. So I'm happier now than I was in 1992.
Yeah, but I think that also comes with an inexperience,
It does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does come with that. That's true.
It does. Yeah. And I'm more. When I look back and I just think, oh wow, we were actually not too bad. and I also think I should have. Oh, well, that's what I used to look like. I should have had much more sex. Why don't I look like that now?
Well, you haven't really changed a lot, have you?
No, I was going to ask if you guys still work out a lot because you're still looking very good.
Yeah, we did. We trained today, actually.
We trained today.
Yeah. And it's difficult. Obviously, they've been closing gyms, So that's made it difficult. We've got a small gym. Richard's got a small gym which we both use. But I quite like getting out and training. I tend to train a little better when I'm at a proper gym.
Yeah, of course.
Also, because if they've got more equipment, you can hit different muscle groups in a different way because the equipment is more varied.
Yeah.
So
but not only that, you're going out to train rather than.
You are.
you're going downstairs or,
yes,
you know.
exactly right. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
one of the ludicrous things in the UK where gyms were shut, but you could eat out on the cheap.
No, they're still shut here.
It was insane.
Yeah.
One of the things that really, we both noticed it because we both suffered from depression from time to time. Exercise really helps. And it doesn't have to be weight training. It can be walking, cycling, it can be anything. But if you're having trouble with depression, even if it's just mild depression, it doesn't have to be, the heavy duty stuff. It just helps to get out. And the lack of knowledge from Number 10 on this fundamental issue was absolutely staggering. It really was. Denying people the ability to exercise is just, it's just.
Well, we actually had a curfew here, so you couldn't go out of your house after 9 o'clock,
Right.
Really, did you? Yeah.
Well,
So
Fred was telling me there's an app in Cyprus that you have on your phone which tells you if you've been out for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah, but the thing with COVID is it actually, if you're outside, there's less chance of spreading it.
Yes.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
Exactly.
And also, COVID knows when you go to bed, when you get up.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course it does, yeah.
It's clever stuff, this COVID thing.
It is, yeah.
It is.
So, what would you say you would still feel you have to achieve in music or life? Is there any other achievements or goals that you both have?
Not specifically. I just like, we've been doing writing recently. We're very happy with what we've been writing. So I guess I'd like the tracks have a little bit more support from the UK. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And other than that, no, we aren't particularly hungry to go and start doing shows again. That's not a big thing. We are involved in a couple of film projects that one of which now is fully funded. I'd like to see those see the light of day. That would be an achievement.
One of the things the lockdown has forced us, and I'm sure it's lots of people, it's forced you to rethink what you want from life. I mean, I've started cooking. I never thought I'd do that.
It was very good.
And I actually quite enjoy it.
Good cook.
I actually enjoy going to the shop and, buying vegetables and all that kind of stuff, simple stuff. So I wouldn't recommend it as a therapy, for anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it does force you to rethink. And so for us, we were on a treadmill of gigs. That's what we were doing. And as a consequence, we probably weren't thinking. We knew we had gigs every weekend. We were going off and doing festivals and getting onto planes and and we weren't really thinking, because all the time there's a whole bunch of people out front. It's validation. It's but you're not thinking about the next track as hard as you should. You're not thinking about production as hard as you should. So this has really forced us onto our back foot, if you like. And we've had to think. We've had to really, really think about what we want to sound like. And I think the tracks that you've mentioned, I don't think we would have written those if it hadn't been for lockdown.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've only got.
That's interesting.
We've only got.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I've been keeping one eye on the clock as well. Have you got any questions, Ted?
Well, I know your wife's got a question for the guys.
Yeah, she did. So she was really excited when I told her that you guys were coming on.
Right.
And she wondered whether you still had some of the costumes from back in the day.
We've auctioned a lot of them up. Well, we've given them away.
We lots to charity. Yeah. We might have them in a lockup somewhere. Yeah. To be honest with you.
Yes.
But very little. Very, very little. We gave most of it. We were involved with various homeless charities and did loads of different stuff, cancer charities, and most of it was given away to auction.
Also, I'm not sure I could get the trousers on now. Maybe over my head.
Have you lost that much weight?
Well, when I look back, there's a clip of me doing some show in Switzerland, I think it was, and I looked at my waist. I must have had a waist of about 26, or something like that, And there's a pair of trousers. I remember there's a pair of trousers. I had them up until quite recently. And when you look at them, and I just think, are you kidding me? That actually, it's ridiculous. So, and I don't want everyone to get fat. I've made my mind up about that. But I've given up on the idea of being a live 25-year-old. Yeah, you just have to get, gravity kicks in. Yeah, and also as you get older, you look a bit rubbish if you're too skinny.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. No, it's brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you, guys. Really enjoyed it. I've been so excited all week. I've got to be honest by you two coming on. So really good.
Thanks.
Okay.
very much.
Yeah, I'll keep following you on Twitter and adding my silly comments.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh yeah, we'll make sure we we'll put all your socials and everything on here as well, and
Brilliant.
we'll share your music as well because we want to get the Brits listening to it, guys.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Thank you very much
kind of you.
indeed. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
coming on.
Cheers now.
Thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
How cool is that? Loved it. I'm sorry if I took over a bit then, but I was kind of like on a roll.
Oh, that's
So,
okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
didn't have a lot written down, so
Yeah, that was amazing. I wasn't going to ask him the question that Sarah wanted, but since we had a bit of time left, should be pleased with that.
well, I wanted to ask it because he said about a festival and he remembered the festival for the wrong reason because of one
Yeah.
of his outfits. So, and I immediately thought about it and I thought, well, that would have been a good transition into that question,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because you went on straight on to something else and I was like,
yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
well, that would have been a perfect transition into that question, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
yeah,
yeah.
No, that was awesome. Really, really good.
Yeah, nice bunch of guys, man.
Yeah, genuine.
I always
fellas,
say
I
this
mean,
after every episode, but after
there's a lot
every
of them out
interview-
there, isn't there? Thankfully, we've we've been lucky to have people accept that have been genuine, nice people, haven't we? Which is good.
Yeah, not only the Welsh, you know, obviously there's some English guys that are really,
That's
that are
right,
really
yeah.
nice as well.
That's right. So yeah, I did enjoy that.
Yeah,
Been
it was
a very good end to a busy week. So fantastic.
good. Glad, yeah, I'm glad they're doing well, and COVID hasn't really, obviously, has kept them in, but you know, everybody's staying safe, and
Yeah.
that's the main thing. And it's glad to see they're not really conspiracy theorists or anything. They're just very cautious, being very cautious
Yeah,
about
that's it.
vaccination. So.
Yeah, no, you can't blame them, can you? Do you know what I mean? It's
No, well, I've got the same view, so
Yeah.
I've already told you that.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't have enough time to know what this,
Mhm.
and it does stick in my mind about the whatever I said. I can't
Thalidomide,
remember
yeah.
now.
So
The thalidomide, yeah.
when that came out, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
No.
even though I just missed that generation, I mean, there were still a few thalidomide babies as I was growing up.
Mm.
But that's one thing that was also rushed onto the market, and then they didn't really understand the consequences of it until it was too late, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, maybe it's not that I think that we're going to go that way, but I've got that cautious feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's it. No, I don't blame you. I was, and then it sort of just come to a period in my mind that I was kind of like, you know, I want to try and get out there and sort of live my life, and I'm not really going to feel comfortable doing that without having the injections. So that was kind of like where I got to in my head. And to be honest, now I've had it, I feel a lot better. Not obviously not physically, but mentally, I feel a lot better, and like I can, you know, prepare myself better for when everything starts opening, and you know, enjoy life again. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm probably going to get it, but well, I'm going to probably have to get it, to be honest.
yeah.
But I haven't got that long left anyway, so I might as well just fucking have it.
That's it, isn't it? you would have had it months ago if you had been over here.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm going to be the one of the first in the queue.
You would have been straight after the NHS. My funny talking about him, Curtis, my boy, he's 28 and he's just had a letter today to say that he can have it sometime in the middle of May. So they're now doing the under 30s now.
Oh, I thought they weren't going to do the women under 30.
They're not going to do them with the Astra. I think they can. I think the women under 30 will probably end up having the Pfizer. I think. I don't know. That's what I've read. But
and what's the other one beginning with M?
I don't know. I know
there's another one as well. Which one's supposed to be giving you the blood clots?
The AstraZeneca.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the, what do they call that? Oxford. They call that the Oxford one.
Okay.
That's the one that has been giving people blood clots, and the one that they banned in quite a few European countries as well. I'm not sure if they've opened it back up yet for them to use it, but yeah, so we'll see. So yeah, but I'm buzzed up now.
Cool.
Yeah, well buzzed up. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you know, legends, amazing, absolutely amazing. I can't believe we've interviewed him. I honestly can't.
No. Well, there'll be a few more famous people coming yet, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Cool.
all right then, mate. I'm going to say goodbye for this
Yeah, me too.
episode.
Yeah.
And let you come down off your cloud.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lie down.
Don't lie down too long.
No.
All right then, I'll catch you later.
All right. Yeah. Speak to you in a bit.
Ta-ra.
Ta-da.